Have you ever noticed subtle changes in a loved one? Small shifts that seem easy to dismiss as part of aging? Maybe they're eating less, tiring more quickly, or withdrawing in ways they never did before. The truth is, these quiet signals might be the body's way of whispering a deeper message, one that often goes unheard until it's too late. Aging is not just a natural process. It's also a period where health risks become more pronounced, and one of the most telling signs of decline is unintentional weight loss. Today, we're going to uncover 5 key signs that may indicate an elderly person is entering their final year, and why recognizing them early can help you provide care, support, and truly cherish the time you have left with those who matter most. Before we begin, if you find this video valuable, please like and subscribe to help spread awareness about the importance of aging health. Now, let's get started with the first critical sign. Significant weight loss is often one of the earliest and most overlooked indicators of serious health decline. It doesn't happen overnight, but rather creeps in gradually. Belts needing extra notches, clothes hanging looser, meals that were once enjoyed now barely touched. It's easy to dismiss this as normal aging, but in reality, it often signals deeper issues. As the body ages, metabolic processes change, nutrient absorption weakens, and muscle mass deteriorates, a condition known as sarcopenia. When protein is no longer processed efficiently, muscle strength diminishes, making everyday activities, standing up, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, more difficult. Loss of strength leads to a greater risk of falls, which can accelerate decline even further. But weight loss is not just about numbers on a scale. It's a sign of the body's internal functions slowing down. Appetite often fades, not as a conscious choice, but as a physiological shift. Food no longer tastes the same, smells become dull, and eating turns from an enjoyable experience into an obligation. This lack of appetite is not just a temporary phase. It's a sign that the body is winding down. Energy levels drop, the immune system weakens, and the body becomes more vulnerable to infections that once seemed minor but now carry serious risks. Chronic illnesses such as cancer, heart failure, kidney disease, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, often manifest through unexpected weight loss long before other symptoms appear. Depression and dementia can also contribute, diminishing the desire or ability to eat, creating a cycle where malnutrition worsens physical and cognitive decline. Many families try to counteract this by encouraging their loved ones to eat more, offering favorite meals, nutritional shakes, or high-calorie foods, hoping to reverse the weight loss. But when the body resists, when no amount of coaxing brings back the appetite, it's a stark signal that something deeper is at play. The body is not just rejecting food, it is transitioning, preparing for changes that can no longer be reversed. At this point, the focus should shift from trying to force nutrition to ensuring comfort and quality of life. Large meals can cause discomfort, nausea, or distress when a person feels unable to eat. Instead, prioritizing nutrient-dense, easy-to-digest foods like smoothies, soups, and soft meals can help maintain energy levels while minimizing discomfort. Small, frequent meals may be more tolerable than large ones. Recognizing the deeper significance of unintentional weight loss allows families to provide better care. It's not just about food. It's about understanding the needs of a body that is undergoing profound changes. Instead of pushing for weight gain, the goal should be to ensure that each moment is lived with as much dignity, comfort, and connection as possible. Have you noticed this sign in someone close to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In the next segment, we will explore another critical but often unnoticed sign of decline. Stay tuned to learn how you can support your loved ones in their later years. Instead, small, manageable portions of soft, easy-to-digest foods, think warm broth, mashed potatoes, or a few bites of yogurt, can sustain comfort without overwhelming them. Hydration becomes equally critical. A dry mouth or dehydration only compounds weakness and confusion. If you notice an elderly loved one dropping weight unexpectedly, especially if they're eating less, moving slower, or seeming more fragile, it's time to look beyond the surface. This isn't about vanity or aesthetics. It's the body sending a poignant, unmistakable message. Recognizing it early allows you to approach the road ahead with clarity and compassion, ensuring that every remaining day is filled with dignity, connection, and moments that matter. It's about letting go of the fight to fix them and embracing the chance to simply be with them. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 2, extreme fatigue and weakness. Another profound and unmistakable sign that someone may be nearing the end of their life is an overwhelming, persistent fatigue that seeps into every corner of their being. This isn't the fleeting tiredness that follows a busy afternoon or a restless night. It's a bone-deep exhaustion that lingers, unrelieved by sleep or rest. Imagine waking up feeling as though you've run a marathon in your dreams, only to face a day where even the smallest tasks loom like mountains. Getting out of bed transforms into a Herculean effort, requiring a pause to gather strength before feet even touch the floor. Walking from the bedroom to the kitchen feels like a journey, each step heavy and deliberate. Activities that once defined daily life, stirring a pot on the stove, buttoning a shirt, or sharing a lively story with a grandchild, become draining, sometimes impossible. This isn't merely the weariness of growing older. It's a signal that the body is redirecting its dwindling energy reserves toward its final chapter. The roots of this fatigue lie in the gradual slowing of the body's core systems. As organs age, their efficiency wanes. The heart, once a steady engine, pumps blood with less vigor, reducing circulation to muscles and extremities. Oxygen, the lifeblood of energy, doesn't reach tissues as readily, leaving arms and legs feeling leaden and weak. The lungs might labor harder to draw breath, especially in conditions like COPD or heart failure, amplifying the sense of exhaustion. Meanwhile, the metabolism, a complex dance of converting food into fuel, begins to falter. In a healthy body, energy is produced and spent in a balanced rhythm, powering movement, thought, and repair. But as life nears its end, that rhythm stumbles. The body shifts its focus inward, conserving what little energy remains for the most essential functions, breathing, keeping the heart beating, rather than sustaining the activities of an active life. This redirection explains why someone in their final months might sleep more, drifting into longer naps during the day, or struggling to stay awake through a favorite TV show. Energy crashes can strike without warning. One minute they're chatting, the next they're slumped in their chair, eyes heavy with a weariness that words can't capture. This physical decline carries an emotional weight that's just as heavy. For many elderly individuals, independence has long been a source of pride, a badge earned through years of raising families, working hard, or mastering hobbies. When fatigue steals that autonomy, it can spark frustration, shame, or even despair. A once avid gardener might stare longingly at overgrown flower beds, too drained to wield a trowel. A grandparent who loved reading bedtime stories might falter mid-sentence, unable to summon the stamina to finish. They may pull back from social circles, not out of disinterest, but because the effort of engaging feels insurmountable. This withdrawal can spiral into isolation, where they stop trying altogether, not because they've given up on life, but because their body has left them no choice. For families, it's heartbreaking to watch someone vibrant fade into a shadow of themselves. The instinct might be to urge them to keep going or push through, as if willpower alone could reignite their spark. But this fatigue isn't laziness or a lack of grit. It's a biological reality that no amount of encouragement can overcome. Understanding this shift is crucial for those walking alongside them. Rather than fighting the fatigue, the focus should turn to accommodation and comfort. Let them rest when they need to, even if it means they sleep through a visit. Those quiet hours aren't a rejection, but a necessity. Offer support for tasks they can't manage, like helping them dress or bringing a glass of water to their bedside without judgment or pressure. Create moments of connection that don't demand energy, sitting quietly together, holding their hand or playing soft music they love. If you see a loved one grappling with unrelenting exhaustion, weakness that doesn't lift, or a retreat from the world they once embraced, take it as a sign of their body's profound transition. This isn't the time to measure their worth by what they can do. It's the time to cherish what they mean to you by releasing expectations and meeting them where they are. You can fill the remaining days with peace, love, and a gentle presence that honors the life they've lived. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, increased cognitive confusion or withdrawal. As a person nears the end of their life's journey, one of the most profound and noticeable transformations often occurs in their mental and emotional landscape, how they think, communicate, and connect with the world around them. You might observe that someone who was once vibrant, quick-witted, and fully engaged in life begins to exhibit subtle but unmistakable changes. Perhaps they forget small details more frequently, misplacing their glasses yet again, asking the same question multiple times in an hour, or struggling to recall a familiar name they've known for decades. Conversations that once flowed easily may now feel disjointed as they lose their train of thought mid-sentence or seem unable to follow the thread of a discussion. Even in surroundings they've navigated effortlessly for years, like their own home, they might appear disoriented, unsure of where they are or why they walked into a room. These shifts in cognition can begin subtly, emerging months or even as early as a year before death, signaling the gradual unraveling of mental clarity. This isn't the kind of occasional forgetfulness we all experience, like misremembering where we parked the car after a busy day. It's deeper and more pervasive. The brain, like every other organ in the body, relies on a consistent supply of oxygen-rich blood and nutrients to perform its complex tasks: memory, reasoning, language, and emotional regulation. As the body approaches its final stage, circulation often weakens, and the oxygen delivered to the brain diminishes. This reduction takes a toll, manifesting as a slow but steady decline in cognitive abilities. You might notice they become easily flustered or confused by things that once came naturally, like balancing a checkbook, planning a meal, or making simple decisions about what to wear. Familiar faces, neighbors, friends, even family members might suddenly seem unfamiliar, sparking moments of hesitation or blank stares. At times, there may be fleeting glimpses of their former sharpness, brief windows of clarity that shine through only to vanish again, leaving behind a fog of confusion. It's as though their mind is flickering, like a radio signal struggling to hold a station. Alongside this cognitive decline, another hallmark often emerges: emotional withdrawal. A person nearing the end of life may gradually pull back from the social world they once inhabited. Where they used to light up a room with laughter or eagerly join in family discussions, you might now find them sitting quietly, staring into space, or declining invitations to engage. Their voice grows softer, their response is shorter, sometimes just a nod or a faint smile instead of the lively exchanges you're used to. Long stretches of silence become more common, not because they've lost interest in their loved ones, but because the effort of processing emotions and sustaining interaction has become exhausting. The brain, taxed by the body's decline, struggles to manage the energy required for connection. Noisy gatherings or bustling environments that once energized them might now feel chaotic or overwhelming, prompting them to retreat inward, seeking solace in stillness. This withdrawal can also bring shifts in mood and behavior that catch loved ones off guard. Some individuals grow more irritable, snapping over small frustrations, a misplaced item, a loud TV, or an interruption that they once brushed off with ease. Others may become anxious, restless, or prone to tears over things that seem trivial to outsiders. Conversely, some appear unusually serene, almost attached, showing little reaction to events or topics that used to stir their passion, whether it was a favorite sports team's victory or a grandchild's milestone. These changes aren't merely quirks of personality. They reflect the brain's attempt to adapt to a body that's winding down. As cognitive processes slow, the ability to articulate feelings or respond to external stimuli fades. What might look like indifference could simply be the mind's way of conserving what little energy remains. For families and caregivers, this stage can be one of the most emotionally challenging. Watching a loved one drift away mentally or emotionally, losing the spark of recognition in their eyes or the warmth of their conversation, can feel like a preview of grief, a slow goodbye before the final one. It's easy to take it personally, to wonder if they've stopped caring, but the truth is far more tender. They aren't choosing this distance. The changes are beyond their control, driven by biology rather than intent. Pushing them to snap out of it or forcing them into long talks might only heighten their confusion or fatigue. Instead, the kindest approach is to meet them where they are, sitting beside them in quiet companionship, speaking in soft, simple terms, or offering a gentle touch to convey what words can't. Even if they don't reply or seem distant, they can often still sense your presence, absorbing the comfort of your love in ways they can no longer express. If you notice a loved one growing more forgetful, more bewildered, or less engaged with the world, don't dismiss it as mere aging. These shifts are often early whispers of the body and mind preparing for their final transition. This is a time for patience and grace, to savor the small, quiet moments, to create a space that feels safe and familiar, and to let go of expectations for how things should be. A soft blanket, a favorite song playing faintly, or the sound of your voice reading aloud can anchor them in comfort when language and memory slip away. Though their words may fade, their capacity to feel love, peace, and reassurance often endures until the very end. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins its gradual descent toward life's end, one of the most tangible physical signs is a faltering immune system. A once robust defender now struggling to keep pace. You might notice that someone who rarely fell ill in the past, a person who shook off colds in a day or two, suddenly seems vulnerable to every bug making the rounds. A sniffle turns into a stubborn cough. A minor scratch festers longer than it should, and infections that once cleared up quickly now linger, sapping their strength. These aren't isolated incidents, but part of a broader pattern. The body's defenses are weakening, and its ability to repair itself is slowing down, often noticeably so in the final months or year of life. One of the most telling indicators is the recurrence of infections. Pneumonia creeps in repeatedly. Urinary tract infections, UTIs, become a frequent, unwelcome guest. Skin sores refuse to heal, and even the mouth, gums, or throat may harbor persistent irritation or infection. For families, it's tempting to see each illness as a standalone problem, something a quick doctor's visit and a prescription can fix. But when these episodes pile up, when recovery stretches from days to weeks, or when the same infection returns despite treatment, it's often a sign that the body's natural resilience is fading. 48 hours might now barely make a dent, requiring stronger doses, extended courses, or even hospital stays. This isn't just bad luck, it's the immune system signaling that it can no longer mount the vigorous response it once did. The reasons tie back to the body's broader decline as circulation slows and organs like the liver and kidneys function less efficiently. The systems that power immunity, white blood cells, antibodies, and inflammation don't mobilize as effectively. Blood flow, which carries oxygen and nutrients to every corner of the body, becomes sluggish, leaving tissues more susceptible to invaders. Healing, too, takes a hit. A small cut that once scabbed over in a day might now remain raw and tender for weeks. Bruises linger, their purple stains fading far more slowly than before. For those with limited mobility, pressure sores, painful ulcers from prolonged sitting or lying emerge as a serious threat, prone to infection if not meticulously cared for. These chronic wounds aren't just skin deep, they reflect a deeper truth. The body's repair mechanisms are running out of steam. What's especially striking, and often overlooked, is how infections manifest differently in this stage. In younger, healthier years, a fever might spike as the body rallies against a germ, but in the frail elderly, the signs can be subtler and more insidious. Instead of a thermometer spiking to 102 degrees Fahrenheit, you might see only a low-grade temperature or no fever at all. More often, the clues are behavioral. They're sleepier than usual, less interested in food, or suddenly more confused, staring blankly when they were alert just yesterday. This dip in mental sharpness, known as delirium, can be the earliest red flag of an infection in older adults, appearing before a cough, a rash, or any other textbook symptom. Recognizing this shift is critical because it allows for earlier intervention, potentially sparing them discomfort or a steeper decline. For loved ones, this cycle of infections and slow recovery can be both exhausting and heart-wrenching. Each new illness sparks hope that a fix is around the corner. Another pill, another another specialist. But as the pattern repeats, the reality settles in. The body's fight is waning. It's natural to cling to aggressive treatments, to chase a cure that restores them to their former selves. But there comes a point where the goal shifts from healing to easing their burden. Rather than piling on medications that strain an already fragile system, small, practical steps can make a bigger difference. Keeping them hydrated with sips of water or broth, gently cleaning and moisturizing their skin to prevent sores, and ensuring their surroundings are calm and restful. These acts don't reverse the decline, but they honor the body's limits, offering dignity and relief when curing is no longer the answer. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, major changes in breathing or circulation. One of the most profound and revealing signs that the body is entering its final chapter is a significant shift in breathing patterns or circulatory function. These changes often serve as quiet heralds of the body's natural progression toward the end of life, manifesting in ways that can be both subtle and striking. For instance, you might observe that your loved one's breathing has become noticeably slower or more shallow than it once was. Where unremarkable, you may now notice prolonged pauses between inhalations, as if the body is hesitating before deciding to take the next breath. At times, their breathing might take on an erratic rhythm, speeding up briefly in short, quick gasps, only to slow dramatically moments later. In some cases, a distinctive pattern known as Cheyne-Stokes respiration emerges. This is a gentle yet unsettling cycle where breathing alternates between deep, rapid bursts and extended pauses, almost like a tide, ebbing and flowing unevenly. These shifts might begin faintly, perhaps only noticeable during moments of rest, but as time passes, they tend to grow more pronounced, occurring more frequently and with greater intensity. Alongside changes in breathing, you may also notice signs of weakened circulation, another key indicator of the body's gradual decline. Perhaps you reach for their hand and find it unexpectedly cold, or you brush against their feet and realize they feel chilled despite a warm room. This coolness might extend beyond the hands and feet. Sometimes even the tip of their nose or the edges of their ears take on a faint chill. As you look closer, their skin might appear paler than usual, tinged with a bluish or grayish hue, or marked by a mottled, marbled pattern, particularly around the fingers, toes, or lower legs. This occurs because the body, in its wisdom, begins to redirect blood flow away from the extremities, prioritizing the vital organs like the heart and brain as energy reserves dwindle. It's a sign that the heart, though still beating, is no longer able to pump with the vigor it once did. The pulse might feel weaker or less consistent, and the extremities may take on a clammy texture as circulation slows. These circulatory changes often bring additional symptoms that can be distressing to witness. Your loved one might complain of shortness of breath, even during the simplest of activities. Sitting up in bed, uttering a few words, or shifting from one side to the other might leave them gasping or visibly winded. You might notice them breathing through their mouth more often, their chest rising and falling with greater effort, or they may pause mid-sentence to catch their breath, a task that once came effortlessly, now requiring deliberate focus. If they were previously able to walk short distances, say from the bed to a chair, but now find themselves struggling to take even a few steps, it could point to a decline in lung function or oxygen exchange. In some instances, fluid begins to accumulate in the lungs, a condition that can complicate breathing further. This might produce a persistent, nagging cough, a faint gurgling or rattling sound with each breath, or a sensation of tightness or heaviness in the chest. At first glance, these symptoms might be mistaken for a stubborn cold or minor respiratory infection, but in elderly individuals approaching the end of life, they often signal something deeper, a gradual weakening of the lungs' ability to keep up with the body's demands. As a result, lying flat may become intolerable, prompting them to prefer sleeping propped up with pillows or resting in a recliner to alleviate the strain on their breathing. For family members or caregivers, watching these transformations unfold can stir a mix of emotions: fear, helplessness, or an urgent desire to intervene. It's only natural to want to encourage them to take deeper breaths, to adjust their position, or to wonder if something immediate and fixable is wrong. Yet in many cases, these changes are not a sudden emergency, but rather the body's gentle, inevitable way of winding down. While it's tempting to seek solutions, there often comes a point where reversing these shifts is no longer possible, or even the goal. Instead, the focus turns toward easing their discomfort and preserving their sense of peace. Simple measures can make a difference. keeping the room at a comfortable temperature, perhaps slightly cool to aid breathing, running a humidifier to moisten the air and soothe dry airways, or offering small sips of water to keep their mouth from feeling parched. For some, repositioning them slightly or fanning the air gently across their face can provide a moment of relief. In certain situations, medical support like oxygen therapy or carefully administered medications might help soften the intensity of these symptoms, though the aim is typically comfort rather than cure. If you observe these signs, irregular or labored breathing, cold hands and feet, a bluish tint to the skin, or a mottled appearance, it's worth taking note. They often indicate that the body is conserving what little energy it has left, redirecting its resources inward as circulation and respiratory strength fade. This is not a time for panic, but for presence. It's a moment to sit close, to speak softly, to offer a reassuring touch, and to ensure their surroundings feel calm and secure. In these final weeks or months, the greatest gift you can offer isn't a heroic medical fix. It's the steady comfort of your company, the preservation of their dignity, and the quiet assurance that they are not facing this journey alone. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to think about what these 5 signs, significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive decline, frequent infections, and changes in breathing or circulation, mean for you and the people you care about. These aren't just warnings. They're opportunities to show love, offer comfort, and make the most of the time we're given. So, what have you learned so far? I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below with one thing you've taken away from this video and how you plan to bring it into practice in your life. Your thoughts inspire us all. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you content that matters. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.